G'day scrappers, it's been a while but I'm here today and thought today's as good a day as any, being such a beautiful morning actually, and it's the first day in weeks that it's really not going to be that hot. So I thought I'd start today on this bit of a mission and finally get rid of some of these PCs that have been hanging around for a while. I wanted to get the CPUs out of a lot of these as well. So what I've got here is I've set myself a challenge for 100 PCs. So here's 100 PCs all ready to go, a lot of different ones, and so this is what I've got to start on today. And it might take me a couple of days, it might take me 3 days, it just depends on what the weather is going to be like for the rest of the day and into tomorrow. So let's make a start and start scrapping these PCs. Before I can really get onto anything else or scrap anything really different, I really got to get rid of these 100 PCs. I've still got quite a lot more at the back, but I just need to clear out this driveway. So don't know how this video was going to turn out. I thought I'd just make a start and probably start off doing one of every different PC, and we'll just have a bit of a scrap chat and talk turkey and yeah, and just see how the video pans out. It's kind of like a cross between a scrap challenge and a scrap marathon. I don't really know. We'll see how the video turns out, and yeah, then I'll give it a title. But for now, yeah, a lot of PCs. Got some older ones, you know, nothing really old. Got some small form factors, you know, nice little Dell there, and yeah, a couple of interesting things. Really just want to get the CPUs out of a lot of these, because yes, before it starts raining or anything. We haven't had rain in so long, it's, you know, it's probably not going to rain for another month, but yeah, I just want to get some of the good CPUs out, and that's it, and then scrap the rest and get rid of the motherboards and everything else. So we'll have a look at what we sort of end up getting at the end. Not sure how I'm going to do it. So obviously I'm anticipating at least, well, I'm anticipating 100 of everything, 100 motherboards, 100 DVD drives, 100 power supplies. Now my power supply bin is a little bit full, so I've got a spare bin here. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for. It might end up having to be power supplies again, and then I'll just get rid of these. Yeah, so the motherboards are quite empty, so I should be able to fill that up. So all right, let's make a start anyway. Get to this 100 PC scrap challenge / marathon, and yeah, hopefully have a little bit of fun with it, and you know, see what I come up with in conversation. But this is about all I can really do as far as the video at the moment, because yeah, it's been so hot. I haven't been able to do a lot, and I really need to start clearing off, because street scrapping is starting in about 4 weeks time. So I need as much room in this driveway as possible, so I can make a start on that, and then start focusing on, you know, more interesting things to scrap out. All right, let's get to it. Okay, well, these 8 are as good as any to start off with. So let's get down onto the scrap table and make a start on this. Although, you know, 100 PCs is a lot of work. It's about the, you know, the best stuff that I enjoy scrapping anyway, so I'll have a bit of fun. All right, well, first up, number 1 of 100 is this old Dell. It's been ripped apart a little bit. Okay, yeah. All right, we'll get the camera all set up. Awesome. Oh, there's a RAM stick. Okay. So be interesting to see how many slot cards I get out of the 100. Obviously I know I'm going to get motherboards out of all of them, power supplies out of most of them. There's a couple of missing, but you know, the more slot cards I can get, the better. A lot of this has been sort of partially dismantled, and yeah, with some of these Dells it's always good to get these kind of heat sinks. We just get, you know, better value. It's at least 2.5 times the value with the copper as well as the aluminium. So this goes as copper aluminium radiator, so that's a little extra bonus. So normally when I'm scrapping PCs, you know, I try and, you know, do most of it completely, like cut cables, all that kind of thing, but I'm not sure. I've got to cut a few corners just to get the bulk of the PCs done, but at the same time I don't want to leave myself with 100 of everything to do again later on. So some things I need to do as I'm scrapping, which is going to take me longer, but it's going to save me time in the end. And number one thing, at least I'll cut off the power supply unit cables, but I won't cut most of these plugs, because yeah, it'll just add too many minutes, probably a couple of hours that I can do later on. So what I'll probably do is yeah, I'll put all the wire aside and I'll process that later on. So just got to work out where to put it. Okay, so I tried to look for a tub for the wire, but I think I'm just going to leave it in a big stack, and when I'm done I'll be able to work something out with it. And I want to clean up this kind of thing, just get rid of the steel. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing for at least a couple of days. Again, it's quite a lot of work, but it's probably the best kind of work for me, because I find PCs quite interesting, and you know, most of them are a little bit different than until I get to the ones where I've got Acers there. I've probably got about 40 of the same one, so that'll get a bit monotonous, but still. So these motherboards, I want to at least take the CPUs out. These regular kind of CPUs I don't bother with anymore, unless they're i3, i5, i7. I don't bother with them. I used to try and sell them, and they're just really slow and really cheap. So okay, well, there's our first motherboard, a nice little Dell. Awesome, ready to go. Motherboard 1. And we don't have a power supply unit in this one. Okay, well that's done. Normally I don't worry about fans when I'm doing so many. It's just too time consuming. That's number one. Obviously I'm not going to do 100 PCs on video. I just thought I'd take you through some of them. This one's just a generic brand, Pentium 4. We'll have a look. Normally I take off the base cover. I probably should still, just so I can undo the DVD drives. Yeah, because I do want the boards from the DVDs. I'll just make sure that, yeah, see how it's got a, it's not coming out because it's got screws on the other side. So normally what I like to do first is open up the back part, undo the screws, then put the cover back on. And at the same time, it also gives me better access to the cables here. I don't bother taking off the front cover to get all the cable, but now, you know, I don't have to reach in and try and get as much cable as I can. I've already taken out, and at the same time I had to do it anyway because the hard drive is also screwed on this side. So most PCs have got screws on the other side. Sometimes the PC repairer doesn't bother doing it, but in this case they did. So I just want to put a screw back in just to hold that base. And that's how I usually start, so I don't have to get to that anymore. Just cut the power supply out. A lot of this wire. And see, when I pull out that, it's already cut on the other side, so it just comes straight out. Saves yeah, trying to dig in there and cut as much cable as you can. It doesn't always work out that way though, but alright. Hard drive. Bonus. And one thing I've learnt not to do is just stockpile DVD drives. I like to do them straight away with each PC and throw the remainder back in the PC. Otherwise, because they're so low value, especially these days with the lower value boards, it's I don't want to leave them for another day. It's just a job that isn't necessary. So we've got two slot cards in here. This one's a good one, these TV kind of ones, because they're really heavy and you get good value selling as a slot card. Another one. The more slot cards, the better it is. Just adds, you know, better value. It's pretty much here in Australia, for me, it's slot cards go for the same price as the motherboards. Even though I do pay a little bit more for slot cards, so I make a little bit less when I buy them, but I like to have that option of getting slot cards for my own gold recovery as well. So, all right. There we got a little CPU pins. I like to try and wipe off all this gunk rather than having stockpile of gunky stuff. Well, here's a copper stacker heatsink, so that's a extra bonus in one of these slightly older motherboards. Bit dirty, but nice copper stacker inside that. So I'll cut that open and get that solid copper out for my own ingot melting, or ingot, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not going to bother with the fan. Battery out, RAM out. Another one bites the dust. Finish off this DVD. Mostly want this board. Take that brass. I don't bother with the motor or the DVD eye there. Don't bother with it. Some of you might choose to go for it. I've also got a bucket here of some junk. Oddball bits of scrap. CPUs and RAM in that. Alright. Well, there you go. Number 2. It's all fun. You know, I love getting my PCs when I pick up stuff, so, you know, I don't mind scrapping either. Oh, this one's quite a heavy one. It's another Dell. It's okay. So it looks like this is a workstation, Dell Precision T3500. Yeah, it's either a server or a workstation. Cool. The actual casing itself is where most of the weight is. It's very, very heavy. And scrap metal, well, scrap steel, pressing steel, shred steel, it's gone down quite a bit. Luckily it didn't go down while the street scrapping was on, but I'm hoping that scrap steel goes up a little bit. It's gone down like, geez, you know, like 50% since I was street scrapping late last year. So yeah, really hoping that it goes up before I start street scrapping again. Otherwise, yeah, it won't be worth taking much of the scrap steel. And I did want to, like this year, I'm basically solely relying on scrapping for an income, and because it's all registered and stuff, I need to, you know, obviously got to pay tax and all that. This power supply unit is really tight. Gonna have to cut my way out. You've got cable here running right underneath the motherboard. Yay. Alright. There you go, nice and easy. Deal with that. So yeah, this looks like a workstation, this one. Nice NVIDIA Quadro graphics card. Funny how they put this one together. Oh, a couple of RAM sticks. It's always good. We like RAM. Yeah, 2 gigabytes. Interesting heatsink. Got to clean off these bits, but yeah, copper aluminium. This one here can actually, it's quite brittle aluminium, can actually break this aluminium off and sort of keep this solid part and just cut the tubes off and still throw this in copper aluminium radiator, but keep the bulk of the weight just as copper. Looks like we've got a nice CPU here, one for possible sale. It's okay, it's Intel Xeon, but it's this style, so that's the new style. So when I get it, when these come, I always look these up, because you know usually get 20-30 bucks for these. So that's a bit of a bonus. Nice and easy thing to sell. Big motherboard, a lot of screws. Gotcha. Bit of a bugger. There we go. Nice big motherboard this. Yep, really good. Good value. And here's all that cable running underneath the motherboard. Very neatly strapped in. It's only going as scrap metal, so that'll do. Alright, well, it looks like we're on a roll with Dells at the moment. This one, okay, well, this is one that I wanted to get into. It's an Optiplex 390. Yeah, just wanted to see the Core i3 CPU. That's basically what I want out of this one. Just to get some added value. Okay. Turn it the right way around. Oh, well, sorry about that. I had the camera way off whack. It must have got knocked. So, let me just tighten up. So, probably missed out half of that last PC that I scrapped out. This one here is the Dell. I cleaned that up, just straight aluminium. Yeah, so it's been really incredibly hot here in Australia, and yeah, some parts of Australia it's just been ridiculous and so hot and very dangerously hot. As I've mentioned, it's some days it's it's been over 100 degrees, around 100 degrees most days. Some days 120, and in some parts of Australia more like 140 out in the outback and stuff. And we've also got, in a lot of areas, drought, a lot of environmental problems, you know, with the climate at the moment. It's crazy, and it's kind of happening all over the world, you know. In places in America, it's seriously freezing cold, like minus 30 or 40 or something, you know. It's something crazy. Well, we certainly we don't get that kind of cold here, but we do get the extreme heat. And yeah, you know, obviously a lot of aged people, you know, suffer from extreme heat, and it's very dangerous. Not to mention, if you've actually got to be, you know, if you actually work out in the sun or something, then it's you got extra risks. I'm kind of scrapping these PCs a bit awkwardly at the moment. And yeah, you're probably wondering why I've slowed up some videos. Well, for a couple of good reasons. Firstly, I just don't... it's just been so hot. It's just been crazy, and I don't have a great deal of you know, new and interesting stuff to scrap out. It's all pretty much the same. I do have some of those routers, the Cisco routers and stuff that I picked up, but it turns out that they might be, the boards themselves might be worth a lot of money, so I'm just going to wait to do a bit of research on them. Okay, oh, cute little motherboard. This is basically what we wanted in this one, i3, beautiful. Sometimes the i3s aren't that good. This one, yeah, I can't really read it, but yeah, sometimes they're hard to sell, but some i3s are really good and they can still sell really well. So that's my minimum, unless stuff comes out of servers and stuff, then I check them out. But there we go, another motherboard. PC number 4 since I've got this out, even though the board won't be worth it. Still better than scrap steel if it's not too much of an inconvenience, you know. There you go. So that board, you know, only worth a few cents in scrap. Sometimes these silvery coloured rods, they can be just steel. Other times it's just white brass. In this case, it sticks to a magnet, it's just steel. Don't bother with it. That'll do that. Alright. Well, even though it's not as hot as it's been, it's still getting warm, I tell you. We're not getting much of a cool breeze coming off the bay. It's coming from the north, which is our hot wind. Whew. Looks like another generic kind of Pentium 4. Yeah. Just get this back cover off. And looks like we've got a couple of drives. Yeah, it's just floppy, I think, but
just in case, undo that side anyway. Cut that bit of wire. Okay. All right. Well, this one's reasonably bare. Very straightforward, this one. Though it does have a few drives. So yeah, it's just been so hot, and at the same time I've been, you know, I had an infection, like a stomach kind of infection. I'm pretty sure I got it from my trip in India. About 3 weeks into my trip, I noticed, and I got some antibiotics when I was in India. It seemed to work, but it kind of came back because they didn't really know what my problem was, you know. So I've been spending a lot of time going to doctors. Even had a colonoscopy, which the colonoscopy itself isn't so bad because you're asleep, but it's the preparation for the colonoscopy that's a drama. Yeah, it's, you know, you just got to drink this stuff and the day before and clean yourself out. So yeah, it turned out, I mean, I've been you know, carrying this infection for like almost 3 months, and I was really exhausted. Like I could only sort of like, I couldn't even walk around for more than 5 or 10 minutes. I'd have to go to the toilet every 10 minutes, and I was really exhausted a lot, and I had to lie down and sleep through the day. And you imagine, I was doing this for 3 months, and I was trying to do as, you know, much work as I could. I was, you know, I couldn't avoid like doing pickups, so I had to go and do those jobs, and sometimes it was just terrible. And so my mood wasn't that great, and my motivation to do anything wasn't there. So yeah, that's the main reason why I haven't been doing many interesting videos or anything, you know, really. Just simply because, get these little brass prongs. Yeah, I've been really crook, and well, I haven't been like sick, really sick, but I've just, yeah, through having to go to the toilet so often and lost a lot of blood. Every time I was going to the toilet, I was passing blood, so it wasn't pretty. But as it turns out, it was an infectious form of colitis. So kind of like little infections inside your thing, you know, your stomach there and colon. So now that we know, they were able to actually treat it, and so I'm on a 7-day course of antibiotics, and so today's the 3rd day, and pretty much the first day, within a few hours, my symptoms were already relieved, and so now I feel quite a lot better. I'm still probably not 100%, and whilst I'm on the antibiotics, but I'm hoping that by next week I'll be back to absolute normal, and you know, thankfully there's nothing really major wrong, you know, because when you're losing blood, you know, you think, geez, well, that could be anything, you know. So it turned out well. Don't know if anyone's really interested, but I just thought I'd throw it in because, you know, I've certainly been a lot different than I normally am. Just get these pins. And so that's the reason. And I tell you, it was just really hard to get any kind of motivation going. And so, yeah, but at least it kind of happened at a good time because it's been so hot anyway. I probably wouldn't have gotten that much done anyway, but certainly would have got a lot more done. I probably wouldn't have had 100, you know, well, I probably would have still had 100 PCs, but I wouldn't have had, there's another 50 or so over the other side of the backyard. I would have got through a lot more and probably done a, you know, couple of interesting videos, but anyway, that's okay. As long as I know what it is now and we're getting treated, and I'm going to be right for street scrapping in about 4 weeks time. That's going to be, yeah, interesting, because I've got to really go for it this year, try and get the most out of it. As I said, scrapping is my main source of income, and the eWaste, you know, business and all that, you know, well, that's part of the scrapping. My buying boards, board sort, here in Australia, well, that's growing. You know, people are, you know, I'm getting new people all the time coming in and bringing me boards, so I'm really trying to build that side of the business just to relieve some of the work that I have to do, but I like to have my fun and I like to go street scrapping, and so this year it's going to go, I'm going to go pretty hard, do a lot more scrap metal, do more days through the week rather than just weekends. So I'll probably do like 1 day on the weekend and do like 2 days through the week and pick up all the early stuff that I normally miss out on. Like I go to piles on the weekend and I think, oh, this has all been picked out through the week. So I want to start getting the piles earlier on through the week and picking up more scrap metal. Yeah. All right, well, that was PC number 5. Here's PC number 6. Just a little Acer. And pretty straightforward. Pretty dirty and rusty inside, actually. So I'm just going to plod along for a little while. And not to bore you, if you get slot cars like this with the antenna and you're selling, you've got to take off the antenna. It's just not acceptable. And probably take off this bracket. Yeah, the antennas, you've got to take off these slot cards. Yeah, so I'll just continue on here for a little while. And just give the camera a rest, charge up the battery, and I'll come back to use, well, what's this? This is PC number 6, so yeah, I'll come back while I'm getting through the next batch, and I'm going to start loading empty PCs into my van. So I want to take them all straight to the scrapyard once I get all 100 done. And that's it. That'll clear off a lot of space in my driveway anyway. And so, yeah, as usual, I don't know how this video is going to turn out, and you know how much of it I'll just edit out. I don't want to totally bore you, but you know, I know that, you know, some guys enjoy watching me scrapping out stuff and listen to some chit chat. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll catch you in about an hour's time when I'm through a lot more of this kind of stuff. Okay, well, I've done another little batch. Now I'm up to these Acer Veritons. If you've seen the whole stack there's actually 30 of these. So I'm going to do 30 of these in a row, obviously off camera, but I thought I'd just do one on camera. So, yeah, 30. I'd imagine that once I've done all 30, I'll have just about enough of these Acers. Alright, well, at least they're a complete unit. They've got a hard drive, they've got a RAM, only one RAM stick, but they do have a slot card as well. So, one of everything. Yep, pretty common slot cards, these ones. Video card. So let's see how we go with these. Get the hard drive out. Only 160 gigabytes. So for me, just scrap. Well, they're pretty straightforward, and these ones, you know, like a lot of times from schools, they can be really, really dusty. I suppose it depends on the school, but some of them, when you got so many of them, you know, and it's just makes it even a little bit harder when they're so dusty inside. But as you can see here, you know, these ones obviously came from a clean school, so it just makes it a little bit more pleasant to scrap them out, you know, less dust. Might as well get rid of this while I'm here. Yeah, I just wanted to check out the CPU in these. You know, as you know, I have a few buyers that come on a regular basis to check out what PCs I have available and sellable. So they've all looked at these PCs and they either didn't want them or just wanted to, you know, wanted them for virtually nothing anyway. So because I like my little bit of gold recovery stuff, you know, it's actually, you know, worth, you know, scrapping them out. Like these are 2 gig RAM sticks, you know, you can get a few bucks for them, I suppose, but I'm not going to bother with that. Yeah, so like all they'll pay is like 10 bucks each, and that's $10 Australian, not $10 US, so it works out to about $7.50 US per computer that my buyers would buy them. So for that price, I'd rather have their RAM and you know, the gold recovery bits, and you know, sure, it's a bit of work. Like here, these are just straight out aluminium heat sinks, but at least these ones are heavy. Just got to clean them up, take off these brackets. But yeah, so that's the thing. And you know, I certainly don't have time to try and restore them and sell them myself, because, well, because they're from schools, they also have the school software on it. It's an educational software, so it's just not worth sitting there with each one and putting new windows in them and spending all that time. I mean, wow, you know, I'd rather spend that time just scrapping them out. You still got to sell them, and yeah, it's just too much. But okay, so I've got 30 of these as part of the 100 PC scrap. So just get this one out the way, and then I can turn off the camera and just go flat out, well, reasonably flat out. Let's get the little CPU out, have a look. Okay, it looks like it's, yeah. Just an average one. Yeah, E7400. I can't really read it. SL8 something. These ones, yeah, I've tried many times to sell them. They're just not worth the hassle anymore. i3, i5, i7, that's it. Starting to get buried. Got to start cleaning up a bit. There you go. Done. All right. Now let's multiply that by 30, and we'll go on to the next ones. But at least these ones aren't so difficult. And as I said, nice and clean. All right, I'll keep plodding along. I'll come back when I've done 30 Acer Veritons, and we'll go on to some small form factors. Okay, well, I'm almost halfway there. I've finished off the Acers. There was 30 of them, so glad that's out the way. And yeah, van's getting a little bit full, so let's move on. And yeah, the stack is starting to get pretty low. I'm just so happy now that all the Acers are gone. I was just sick of looking at them. So what I'll probably do now is start on a whole bunch of these small form factors just to get them out the way, and then finish it off with slightly bigger ones. I think these ones will be interesting. You got like a Lenovo Think Center, nice little Dell here, another one there, some other type of small Lenovos, a few down there. So yeah, we're slowly getting through these 100 PCs. There's the motherboards so far, and power supplies are already away. So I've got a bit of a mess there. I've got to start cleaning everything off, but for now I'll just keep plodding along and getting rid of these small forms. There's some clean cable that I've got. This is a lot of cable that needs to be cleaned up. Filled up a bucket of slot cards so far. Milk crate full of hard drives are going, and yeah, it's never ending because I've been pretty busy with the board buying and stuff. Like this is just some recent boards that have just come in, and from 2 buyers, so there's a lot here. I've just got to sort of go through and make sure they've got no batteries and all that sort of stuff, sort them out a bit, and then put them in the bins to send them away. But yeah, all right, well, let's continue this challenge marathon, whatever it is, and yeah. Okay, well, we got first little small form factor, a Dell Optiplex 960 Core 2 Duo. We'll check it out. Okay. Looks like it's had the hard drive removed, but everything else looks okay. Yeah, so even though I'm slowly getting through these 100 PCs, it hasn't been easy. sort of stopping and starting at times. It's just trying to get over these antibiotics and stuff. So it's been this challenge so far. It's been over 3 days, really. Because I've been really tired as well, and just not motivated to do any work. It's been, I tell you, it's this last probably 2 months has been a real difficult 2 months for me. Carrying this virus or infection that I picked up from India. Obviously ate something dodgy, and it's really knocked me around, and I've been struggling just to keep up with normal pickups through the week, and buying boards and stuff like that from scrappers that are bringing me boards. So that's all I've pretty much had the energy to do, and I've had to force myself to go out and do a few pickups and things. I've got quite a few next week. I've got one pickup that's quite about an hour away. It's actually another recycler that's got some stuff that he doesn't want to process. It's got some good stuff, Cisco's stuff, so that's going to be pretty exciting for me. As you know, I love my Cisco stuff. There we go. Yeah, so I think from next week I'll be much better, and I'll be able to get some more videos done and just a lot more scrapping in general. And there's so many things I need to catch up with. It's a little Lenovo ThinkCentre, just a nice little tiny one. There's a couple of them there. Running the AMD Athlons. There we go. Oh yeah, one of these. Haven't done one of these for a few months. Quite easy, these ones. Just a tiny little motherboard. Still got a copper aluminium heatsink. Got two little laptop type 1 GB RAMs. And should be an AMD CPU. Still a copper aluminium heatsink. There you go. Nice AMD copper heatsink. Yeah. So some of you have probably been, or a lot of you have been wondering where I've been, and look, you know, I haven't even had the energy to, or the, just, you know, the get up and go to even get on the internet, you know, just sitting down, and it's just been yeah, just no motivation whatsoever. And most of the day I'm sort of trying to do some work and like scrapping PCs, stuff that I have to do to make room, and in between I'm actually like going to lie down and having half an hour or 1 hour sleeps in between because I've just got no energy and yeah, just it's been pretty bad. I've never been this way ever. So normally I'm going every day pretty hard, so oh well, it's just an oddball situation, and when I come good I'll be going flat out again, and I'm really looking forward to street scrapping and stuff like that. Get out there and yeah, pick up some scrap. I'm not going to bother with this DVD. All right. Yeah, really looking forward to getting out there and you know, pounding the pavement. Is this just another old Dell Inspiron? It feels really light. Don't know what's in it. Oh gosh, this one's virtually empty. It's still got RAM. It's still got everything in there. It's just a strange one. Yeah. Pretty weird. They put this together pretty cheaply. There's the hard drive. So once I get rolling, you're probably going to get sick of me again, because I'm going to be, you know, doing a lot of videos and stuff. I've got so much stuff to catch up on with gold recovery stuff. Just all my little stockpile stuff. I've got to sort out a lot. Really looking forward to that. Looking forward to melting some copper and making ingots. Oh, there's so many things I want to do, but just can't. Just no energy to do it. So I think I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to try not to make this video too long, because it's just basically a repetitive thing. Just wanted to get one video out there at least for now, just to let you know that I'm still here, I'm still going, and just haven't been able to spend time to do anything that's going to be worthwhile to make a video out of, because yeah, as I said, I just don't have the energy to do anything for any long period of time. A few minutes, a couple of, you know, like say 15 minutes of work, and that's it. I'm done. I have to go inside, and because it's been really hot as well. Wow, this is a real strange one. There's no real CPU. It's sort of, it's just a BGA under there. That's really strange. What a strange motherboard. Yeah, this must be a real entry-level cheapest chips PC, or whatever it is. But yeah, I've been trying to, even the cheap CD drive, look at the little board on that. There's nothing there. Even the coil here is steel. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Dell Inspiron. It's probably the cheapest one I've ever seen. All right. Well, I'm slowly knocking through the small form factors. So, just another Dell. And probably all I'll do next is, once I finish off these 100 PCs, take them to the scrapyard, get rid of them, and yeah, sort of get my bearings back, my mojo back, and yeah, I tell you what, the infection that I had, it was really strange because the doctors couldn't work out what it was, because it was oddball, different kinds of symptoms that could have been anything and basic. It wasn't until I finally had the colonoscopy, and even after that they thought it was one thing. They thought it was Crohn's disease or something, but in the end it just turned out to be an infection, you know, that I would have picked up in India. So not only did the holiday cost me money, but it also cost me a lot of time and just simply trying to recover from this crazy, I tell you, really unusual for me to get this ill. All right. Well, at least this Dell's a normal motherboard. Nothing spectacular, but just a regular CPU. All right. There we go. All right, well, that's 4 small form factors so far, and already I'm, you know, just I already feel like sitting down and having a break. So, well, that's a nice, kind of nice looking heatsink. So I'll just continue on. I'll finish off a few more of these small forms and get back to the older full-size ones, and we'll see how we go. This one's reasonably straightforward. Oh, at least we've got a slot card here. All right. Couple of RAMs. Well, building up a lot of RAM and CPUs in there. Adding to the pile. All right. Well, I'll just continue on here, and I'll pick it back up when I'm starting to get into the larger, more interesting PCs, hopefully. All right, guys. So these are still kind of small form factors, just a little bit bigger. Doing quite a few in between putting the camera on. Yeah, it's just trying to get motivated to keep going for longer periods of time than just doing like 4 or 5 PCs at a time. But I guess eventually I'll get my mojo back and be able to go through things a lot quicker. So this is an Acer hard drive. I've already done a few of these. The only problem with these ones are the hard drives are jammed and you've got to knock them out. Start the process anyway, and they start slowing in. Only 160 gigabytes. Nice little Seagates. Yeah, because it's just got this tiny little board in there, I'm not going to bother with these ones. They're just too small. Got a lot of cable to process once I've finished all the PCs, but that I can just do sitting down having a cup of tea and just in downtime. All right. Oh well, just straight aluminium heatsink. At least they weigh quite a bit. Just a little board thrown mid-grade. These gold pins here, they're really shiny gold pins. They're not really that crash hot for gold recovery, but you know, it all adds up. So if you do want to take them off, you can take them off, throw the in low grade, but I throw it in mid-grade with the pins. Just a regular CPU, nothing to write home about. Just going into, well, I was going to say gold recovery, but those ones, it's mostly about the copper really. A couple of RAM sticks, always handy. 1 gigabyte sticks. You know, if I get two RAM sticks in each one, it starts adding up. It's pretty good value. There we go. Just an average motherboard ready to send away for selling. Okay. The cable. All we want now is just the power supply. It won't go out that way. There we go. Nice little heavy power supply. Just a low grade. And that's it. With that one, as I said, I won't worry about the CD drive on that. The board is just so light, not even worth 5 cents. So just reduced a bit of time. Another one bites the dust. Okay, so this is Minuet. It's a generic case. Had 3 of these, I think. Oh yeah, not too bad. This one doesn't have any RAM sticks, but at least it has a slot card. Not the most valuable slot card, only very tiny little gold fingers, so obviously it's one just to sell as a slot card. It does have a nice little BGA here, but that's about it. And we get the hard drive out of here. We've got 1 terabyte. So not bad. We've also got a little board here in this with the little compact flash things. And again, not going to worry about that DVD. Again, only a little board, but for gold recovery, these boards are usually pretty good. Yeah, nothing spectacular. This one, it's got a crystal, got little gold pins here, aren't bad, and yeah, they're nothing special. Sometimes these can be pretty good. This one, just throw it in mid-grade. Cut out cable. I tell you what, after 100 PCs, get quite a lot of nice clean wire, mid-grade insulated. $2 kilo at the moment. It certainly adds up. Usually I try and get rid of this one straight up, so I can throw the plug back into the cavity. This is about the best wad. The rest I'll clean up. You know, and if you're only doing a few PCs at a time, you know, it's a lot. You don't get as many PCs, you know. You'd go even further in, as you know, taking out the fans, getting your little fan motor there. Also under the heatsink you get a fan motor. So it just yeah, really depends on how much stuff you've got to scrap and how much time, you know. But when I was just slowly starting, you know, I'd get every little morsel that I could, because I wasn't getting that many PCs at the start. So, you know, every little piece that I could get, I would get. There's a nice little copper stacker in a heatsink, so we'll get that piece of copper out. So yeah, even though you know, I'm scrapping things out how I normally do it, but yeah, for a lot of the newbies, I wouldn't go exactly what I do. Look at, you know, everything you can get, and later on when things speed up and you get, you know, if you happen to find a lot more PCs, then sure, do it a bit more quicker, and but okay. So this one here, not sure if these red ones are USB 3 or not. The blue ones I look out for the USB 3, but it's got a, looks like an i3 CPU. Oh no, oh wow, so that's an i7. What is it? SR 88C or no, BOC, I can't really read it. But there's an i7, so there's a good value there, straight up. And because it is an i7, and I think these might be USB 3, this motherboard is actually a pretty good one too. Should be a good one. So I'm going to keep this. I might actually put back the CPU. There we go. Yeah, so keep the CPU intact with it, because I've got CPU buyers, and sometimes they also like to buy the motherboards, and this one might be a good one. Only if they got USB 3, usually. Alright, well that was okay. Well, there you go. So this one was actually a very good value board, PC, with the i7 and a good motherboard. We certainly got a lot more than just scrap value. And depends on the i7, it could be worth anywhere from $40 up to $120 selling secondhand on eBay. So even at $40, but I think the motherboard itself, you know, you can probably, if it's a $40 CPU, then the motherboard, you know, you can add another 20 bucks. But if it's a $80 CPU, then can probably add another $40 to $50 just for the motherboard. So that's pretty awesome. One more of these larger small form factors till I move on to the bigger ones. This is a HP. Alright. Doesn't look too bad. Again, just a crappy little DVD board, not really worth it considering that I'm short of time. But for everyone else, if you don't get enough, like with everything, scrap it out, get your bit of copper, get your little motor, little DVD board, you know. Anything will be better value than just scrap steel value, that's for sure. Okay. I'm just going to cut these wires roughly. Just get as much as I can. You can open up the front of the cover to get to these wires a little bit more, but again, I'm just too pressed for time. Okay, so these take Torx. So I'm just going to have to find things stacking up everywhere. Okay, here's a little Torx. A bit of a copper, just get away with that being a copper aluminium. Just take off those brackets. Okay, so yeah, always have a look at the CPU, make sure it's not a i3 or i5 or i7. If not, then I don't really worry about it. Take a look at the RAM, 2 GB RAMs, so they're okay. They sell. Battery out. Always take out the battery after removing every motherboard straight up, unless of course it's going to be a sellable motherboard. Otherwise, just take it out straight away, so don't forget it. Alright. Well, that one was okay. Certainly not as good as the first one. No i7 in this one. But still, there's another one done. Okay. So again, I'll just keep going here, finish off some more of these small forms. I'll come back once I've finished this batch, and then we'll finally get to the bigger ones, maybe a little bit more interesting. This one's also a Torx screw HP. Again, just a very tiny little board. I probably won't bother with. Yeah, 250 gig hard drive. Nothing to write home about, but still, it's a hard drive. And I've got 2 RAM in this as well. This is pretty similar to the one I just done before. Alright, well, I'll continue on here, guys. And I'll be back in a short while. Good time for a break. So, here's a message from my sponsors. Here's a nice big Dell. Well, it's big. And it probably didn't really need to be that big. Oh well, it's got everything in it, just had the hard drive removed. So that's okay. Yeah, it's already, I had some wires cut. Should be a nice quick one, this one. It's a good change. The more quick ones I get, the better. Just to finally get through all the PCs anyway. So got so much other little bits and pieces to do, even just cutting plugs off cords and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much endless work at the moment. So I'm trying to get through these as quick as possible. Just straight aluminium. Oh, well, at least it's got a bonus four RAM sticks, and they're yeah, they just look like 4 1GB RAM sticks. That's okay. Yeah. Well, 4 RAM sticks, can't complain with that. I'm usually hoping for 2 in every PC, but a lot of times I only get 1. Sometimes you only get, or you don't get any, you know. So 4 in 1 adds it up. Yeah, not a bad motherboard. At least it's a little bit bigger and a bit more weight there. Again, I'm not going to worry about the DVD drive. There's no hard drive. So we can call this one scrapped. Go on to the next one. This one here, it's a bit different. It's it looks like a, you know, generic kind of style Prion. Interesting black tower. It's actually quite unusual. I think the power supply is on the front. This one's strange. Yeah. How's that? The power supply is on the front of the PC. I don't think I've never seen that. How weird is that, hey? Yeah. Power supply at the front of the PC. This hard drive's been taken out. That's really, really strange. Quite interesting. I suppose it doesn't make much difference. The only thing is, I think I'm going to have to take off this back cover to undo the power supply. Yeah. So there's the, how strange is that? Oh well, something a bit different. Yeah, that's really bizarre. Cut these wires since I'm here. All right. Wow. Nice slot card, nice and big. That's pretty cool. There we go. Wow. Oh, it's the same brand as the actual case, Prion. Yeah, we've got 2 RAM sticks in this one, and it's a kit, a 2 gigabyte RAM kit, so they're only 1 each. Oh yes, we've got a copper stacker heatsink on this one. Let's get a nice chunk of copper out of that. Just a regular CPU. There we go, and a nice red motherboard ready to go. Yeah, I didn't undo the screws for the DVD, so again, I'm not going to bother with that. But yes, normally I would. We've just got so much stuff coming in at the moment. I've got to speed things up and cut a few corners. And it's a copper, it's a goblet, hollow one. Nice. Okay. Another one down. We've got here oh, it's just another one of those Dells. I think I just did one before, didn't I? Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, oh, well, this one's actually a pretty good one. We've got a good little slot card, and there's also 4 RAM sticks in this one, so bonus. Power supply units are certainly building up. I've got a second bin for power supply units just whilst I'm doing this 100 PCs. Just a regular aluminium. Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you my pickup I'm doing in a few days time. So look out for that video. It should be a little bit quicker than this video came. So yeah, well, I'm doing well in the last run of RAM sticks. These are 2 gig, 1 gig, 1 gig, and 2 gig. Yeah, I had 6 gig of RAM in that one. The 2 gig ones might be okay. Just a regular Pentium CPU. Yeah, not a bad motherboard. Just standard. Cover goes on. I'm going to just throw this back in. And we're done again. Alright. Well, to get this video finished a little bit quicker, I'll try and pick out a few more. There's about, let's have a look. Yeah, I've got about 25 PCs left. So let's do a couple of more and finish it off. Okay, well, we've had a bit of a cool change. So now we're getting some rain, which is good. Haven't had rain for quite a while. So you'll probably hear the rain now in the background. Here's an older one. Hey, finally we got some full-size PCs to scrap out, and yeah, I always like it when there's a floppy in there. It's a good sign that there should be at least an old Pentium in there or something. All right. Oh well, this one's had a lot of its guts ripped out. Actually, it's had the hard drive removed. Well, since it's got it's actually, for an old one, it's unusual that it's actually got Torx screws. Don't normally see that in an old one. Because it's already reasonably open, I might as well get the floppy out. Yeah, I might as well get that board a little bit later, since it's a better board. There's a few little spiders in this one. They've been camping out. Let's see what sort of CPU's in this. So I'm almost there, guys. Loading up the van with all the empty cases, and so I'll probably do just a couple more on video and then finish it off, and we'll have a little look at what we ended up tallying up anyway. Should be just about 100 of each. 100 motherboards, 100 power supplies, 100 CPUs, hopefully closer to 200 RAM sticks. Oh well, we've got 2 RAM sticks out of this one. So no hard drive, but at least we got the RAM. Get this battery out. And Pentium 3 slot CPU, motherboard ready to go, selling it as a motherboard just like that. And the slot card, or the slot CPU, another one to the collection. Extruded aluminium heatsink. And our Pentium 3 slot CPU. Always good value for gold recovery. You know, you've got really good fingers here. And these BGA chips here, even though it's a silicon one, these ones can be okay for gold recovery as well. A couple of flat packs, another one there. Tantalum, and we do have some, you know, obviously class 1 MLCCs, even though they're very small. The they'll be pretty good. I don't worry about the little resistors. Some people go for them. It's up to you. Alright. Well, I'll just finish off this CD player, because it's an old one and it's got the good pins on it for gold recovery. It might also be a bit bigger, this one. Better value. It's just worth the time rather than the new style. Normally I do open the new style ones too when I'm just doing a few PCs in one day, but not when I'm doing so many. There you go. So these ones are worth it for me. I like them. Actually, you know, good for gold recovery. They've got quite a few chips on them. Another one there, and we've got the pins there. Can get out this plastic coated brass rod. I'll clean that. I'll wind off the plastic. Should be brass. But again, I'm not going to worry about the motor or anything else. That's it. That one's done. See what's next. Well, this one's a... it's actually... This would have been a really nice HP Pavilion back in the day, running Windows XP. It's been sitting out for quite a long time, but yeah, this one would have been a reasonably expensive one. Probably not really expensive, but you know, still better than entry level, I'd imagine. Although after a while they all kind of look the same, unless they're super new or super old. Everything in between is kind of pretty much of a muchness. At least we've got a hard drive in this one. It's always a bonus. Not that they're worth a great deal, but you know, I'd rather have a hard drive in there than not. Oh, we've got a slot card here too, so another bonus. I just one of the regular ones, just a little network card. Clean up this. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to resorting my gold recovery bits, just to get everything organised and be able to just have a look at, you know, how far I've gotten, and things like, you know, just pins and plugs, gold fingers and stuff like that. It's been a while since I've tried to catch up on them. What do we got? Only 80 gigabytes. Yeah, good for scrap. Might get the little drive. Usually these can have only small boards, but they're just with all the you know, slot cards, the memory sticks and all that. But they can be pretty good. Now that I've gotten the bulk of the PCs scrapped out, you know, just seems a little bit more fun now. Just, you know, I seem to have more time for fiddling with the little bits. Yeah, like these cards here are actually not bad for those that are into gold recovery. You take off these little steel plates, you got a nice array of pins with gold plated tips on it. Under this one, very nice visible ones, got gold pins there. Out the side you also got some nice gold pins here, and just a little bit under there. These ones are really good though. Not bad. You know, if you're looking to accumulate gold recovery bits, well, it's one of the good things to get it out of. And you might have been scrapping like for a year or two, and then you're looking at, you know, your stockpile of gold recovery, and you think, oh well, there's still not a great deal there. Well, you know, as I keep saying, it all adds up, and just keep going. Just put it away. Don't worry about gold recovery. Just, you know, that'll come in time. And worst comes to worst, because you've got to spend money and a lot of time learning how to recover gold, and it's, you know, dirty and dangerous. Even if you don't recover the gold at the end, you know, you won't regret having stockpiles of gold pins and plugs and fingers and CPUs and RAM and all that kind of thing. You won't regret it, because you can always sell it, and especially things like older CPUs, like ceramic CPUs, if they're in nice condition, they're actually just going to keep going up just as a collectible rather than anything else. So here's another nice heatsink with a copper stacker. Always get the copper out of there. There we go. Well, we got one RAM stick, 512. Battery out. Just a regular Pentium CPU. There we go. Nice clean motherboard actually. That's done. I always put the covers back on, obviously, because my scrapyard doesn't buy, you know, just buys dirty pressing steel rather than totally clean. So always make sure that there we go. Cover stays on. It's only plastic, but I'd rather get the plastic value. Okay. Well, that was that HP. Now, I reckon I'll pull out two more, just half interesting ones. A couple of other cream ones there that I'll do, and we'll wrap this video up. Okay, well, here's PC number 99. So I've only got two left. I left a couple of older ones last, and well, finally can get these over to the scrapyard and go on to the next thing. So so it's actually it's a new day. Once again, I've done, I think I've done about 6 today so far. Just got to undo the drives. So it's been quite funny actually. I got a call yesterday from, I don't know, a scrapper that watches my videos and obviously watches other YouTube videos, and he's called me and he's asked, he said, just thought I'd give you a call to see if everything's okay or whatever, you know. And he said, I watch Moose Scrapper's YouTube channel as well, and apparently Moose has said on one of his videos or somewhere that he heard a rumor that I died. And so I said, died? And I go, hang on a minute, and I've checked my pulse. No, my pulse is still there. No, I'm not dead, I'm still here. So that's really weird. Just I kind of vanished for a couple of weeks, and already there's rumors that I've died. So no, I'm definitely here and still ticking, still going. As I said throughout this video that I was pretty sick for a while there. It was just, I wasn't like that sick that I couldn't do anything. It was just that the symptoms of my infection that I picked up from India was just knocking me out. Like I couldn't really do much, but it was mostly because I was just so tired, and I couldn't even sit at the computer. So, I guess a lot of people probably have been commenting on my videos, and I haven't replied, which is unusual for me because I try and reply to a lot of the comments as much as I can. But I haven't even been checking my emails or anything. Just been so unmotivated. I get up and have a cup of coffee, and I have to go back to bed. And for a few weeks there, I was on the toilet, every 5 minutes. So I had a real stomach issue, infection, and so on. So yeah, I even had to knock back a couple of jobs, like a couple of big pickups. I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have the energy, and because I was on the toilet for every 5 minutes, I couldn't really go anywhere either because had to keep going to the toilet. And so because I was losing blood, a lot of blood every day. The infection was that bad, and so I was becoming anemic or whatever, losing low iron count. So no, I'm still here, I'm still going. It's a nice little old CPU, motherboard. Should have a little, probably a AMD CPU in it. And yeah, I feel a lot better now. I've had my antibiotics and all that sort of stuff, and everything's cleared up, everything's back to normal. There, little AMD ceramic, nice. So you're probably going to get sick of me now once I start pumping out the videos again. But yeah, so yeah, fear not. I'm still here, so you don't have to call me or, you know, see what's going on, because everything's okay. I thought it was, you know, pretty bizarre that someone would actually call and say, oh, you know, there's been rumours going around, and or Moose Scrapper has heard rumours and he's mentioned it somewhere that I died, and gosh. Oh well, at least if I did die, someone's thinking of me. But yeah, no, I'm definitely still here. Nice big, these are good boards, these. So yeah, well, so I'm going to try and edit a bit out of this video. It's probably going to go on too long. I really only wanted to start a video just to tell everyone that I'm still here and everything's going all right, and thought I'd scrap out a few PCs, but because I had so many PCs, I thought, well, I've got to give myself a bit of a challenge and scrap out 100, just so I can start bringing in more stuff. I've got an awesome pickup tomorrow, so that'll probably be the next video. I might get some decent vintage stuff. Oh, I didn't even check if that if my camera was set up, so that part might not have turned out that good. It might have been alright. So yeah, from another recycler that does similar to what I do. He's also a bit of a PC repairer, but apparently he's got a lot of Cisco stuff he wants to get rid of. He's just picked up some real awesome Cisco routers, so got to check them out. I'll probably take some off his hands. I'll probably just buy a few off him and just see what else he's got. He might have some good vintage stuff, some interesting items that I can buy for my own collection, or just scrap out. Here we go. PC number 100. Oh. Okay, well, at least it's got a little bit of everything here. A couple of drives. Looks like it might have 2 hard drives. 2 slot cards. Awesome. Little 40 gigabyte. Feels good to be on the home stretch. 100 PCs. Normally I would go through these pretty quickly. It's a one of these kind of tape drives. I might actually just keep this for a little while just so I can check it out. Only thing I've got left to do is go to the scrapyard now. My van's loaded up with all the PCs. I'll do those DVDs a bit later. Okay. One old RAM stick. Oh. Don't get these very often anymore. The old brown fiber CPU. It's just like a green fiber except it's brown. It's actually a nice, good, clean one, that one. And there we go. Well, that's 100 PCs. Huh. Finally. Okie dokie. Now we can I'll take the rest of this last pile, last trolley full of PCs into the van and head to the scrapyard and probably do a little tally of what I've got out of the 100 PCs, and that's it. We'll call it a scrap challenge video completed. Okay, well, I got so many heat sinks. I've put a lot away. Obviously I've got 100 heat sinks, a lot of RAM, probably well over 100 RAM, at least 150, 100 CPUs in there as well. All this cable that I need to clean up, so there's a bit of work. This is my second barrel of cleaned cable, so that's the next job I need to do when I come back from the scrapyard. Got a whole heap of slot cards to go through, so that was alright. Got a full milk crate of hard drives, so I'd say about 70 hard drives. And there's 100 motherboards. So I just put these ones aside, just stack them up. I stacked them up next to the PCs, but here's the nice gap. As you can see, we got all this space, 100 PCs gone. Oh, that's awesome. So I can stock up a bit more. They're the about 95, 96 power supply units. So that's my second bin. I'll be able to put some of these in there and send them away. So hard drive's done, and now just a matter of heading off to the scrapyard now and take 100 towers. So that's all I got. I've got no other scrap steel to go, just 100 empty towers. Usually a lot of the towers I fill up with scrap steel, but in this case, because I've done 100 in a row, didn't scrap anything else out really. So 100 empty PCs off to the scrapyard. So there we go. And every day I've been feeling better and better. Today I'm actually feeling really good, energetic. I feel like getting into it. Still haven't emptied out this tub of stuff, so gonna have to get into that when I come back as well and start getting onto things and fill up the motherboards. Someone brought me in power supplies, so I need to clean up the power supplies because I sell my power supplies without the cords, so I cut the cables off. I pay more for the power supplies obviously with the cords, So, but then I factor in that I have to spend the time cutting the cords off, cleaning up all the plugs to get that extra, a little bit extra value. Yeah, so there we go. So I've got a whole lot of stuff to clean up here. A lot of good heat sinks, copper stacker heat sinks, and so they're the ones that I scrap out myself. I take out the copper and then just throw the aluminium into extruded. These ones here, I don't take off the copper off these kind of ones. I just sell these as copper aluminium radiators, and then you just straight out aluminium heat sinks. And yeah, so I'll just sort out all these RAM sticks. I'll put aside any good ones, any good CPUs. I already put them away. Only got one good motherboard out of the lot that's that someone might be interested in. It's got a an i7 CPU in it, so it's a pretty good one. I think it's not sure if it's a USB 3 or not, and that's it. So this is going to be the most work when I come back. All right guys, well, I hope that was a bit of fun for you. I'll keep going here. This is, you know, as I said, the stuff that came in a couple of days ago, 2 different sellers. So I've got all these motherboards I've got to go through and put them in the tub and get rid of them. Yeah. So yeah, to anyone that thinks I died or anything like that, no, I'm still here. I'm still going strong and feeling better than ever. So look out for a lot more videos to come. Got an awesome pickup to do tomorrow morning with that other guy. So I'm going to have some really awesome Cisco stuff again, and who knows what else I'll pick up from there. Probably a bunch of laptops and hopefully some vintage electronics. So look out for that video. Keep scrapping, have fun. Catch you next time.